Navy on my golf shirt. Uh, I mentioned Nike too, since it's on there, but
The Nike Navy. Okay, so hey, today I'm thrilled to be speaking with H. Tyler Maits, a distinguished Navy Reserve veteran with over a decade of service and training, mobilization readiness, and administrative leadership. After his career, he seamlessly transitioned into the corporate world where he now serves as manager of global talent and learning at a leading organization, Walmart. His journey from overseeing forces, from shaping goal talent strategies, offering valuable insights for veterans, professionals, and anyone navigating career pivots. Tyler, thanks for joining us. We'll dive into your experience to get started. I was a little bit abbreviated, but is there anything else that I missed in there?
yeah, the 28 years United States Navy till Secretary of the Navy said go home, old man. But 28
Same.
years, 20 activate reserve.
Yeah, I was trying to get it out of your LinkedIn, but it was a little abbreviated, so I was like, I can't find it.
No worries, that was good. Otherwise, you said all good stuff. No bad names or anything else. So I can't. Not that I haven't been called them, but appreciate the intro.
Oh yeah, hey, I get all the bad names, and I totally understand. I'll start off easy. So like, what's started you to go? What motivated you to join the Navy, and kind of how did you evolve over time as you pursued your career and tied it up?
Well, I appreciate the question, Ernest.
Yeah.
It all began, I was going to be in the family business of my father. I was a contractor in the construction world. He passed, long story short, at a young age, and I had to rethink my drink because it had been my passion to work with him. It was his baby, if you will. And since his passing, I had to really look at, and I stepped back and I noticed we had a family tradition of service, mostly in the Navy Marine Corps. Um, our son currently today is going on his fifth year in the Air Force, aim high, which I know is near and dear to your heart. And so it really began with that. And then I did a first enlistment as a Navy corpsman, serving predominantly with the Marines, because you either go to ships, subs, or Marines as a corpsman, or or in a hospital. I ended up with the Marines out in the bush. Good times. I can tell you the stories, great stories. Got out for 10 years with a break in service, so my story's non-conventional. Did go back to undergrad and business and grad and organizational management, and really missed it. Kept running into fellow vets like yourself, and long story short, came back in and enlisted because they didn't have any officer opportunities. I said I just want to get back in the fight, and they deployed me right away. So I did get to go over to a combat zone. I came back, put in again for officer package. Got picked up as a human resources officer, which our aim and what my last tour of duty in my career was being a CO of a base managing reserve forces with a mission of mobilization readiness. I call it a buddy of mine coined it a give back tour, where you're meeting mission but helping lift others in their careers because you're kind of at your pinnacle of your career. And but Walmart, interesting enough, had been during my reserve years. I began with them back in 2015, so I have a lot of things that are concurrent and overlapping. And then I worked a few years, and in the years I was away, coming back off military leave, they actually granted me tenure for that time, which I didn't expect. So technically, I have 10 years with the company, but a
Nice.
number of those years I was actually away around the world. So, and I told my wife, I said, who still likes me after coming up on our 36th anniversary, said, they've been really good to us, even though we're retiring from the Navy. It was for interest, passion, and appreciation for how they've treated us in my initial hire, and keeping me on the rolls while I was away. And I know they've always supported military, but haven't come back to Walmart version 2.0 because they're always improving and changing for the better for the customers, and growing globally. It's been amazing. They encompass our values, as we'd say in the Navy: honor, courage, and commitment. Theirs is coined RISE, the acronym RISE: respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And it's one of those things that, as I mentioned to someone a moment ago, the important thing in whomever you consider to transition into getting out of the military, retiring from the military, or if you're in the Guard or Reserve, is what's their culture and their values. That's your biggest rock is that. And I found them to coincide. I've got some stats. Took a few notes. They have actually, since 2013, hired over around 500,000 military and their spouses. So they're putting a lot of times you hear these things, these veterans initiatives, and they may sound like platitudes, but I've seen them implemented and come to fruition. Another one is just since 2022, they've contributed $10 million to veterans organizations across country. And since FY24, they've given 1.2 billion with a B, that's B for Bravo, to vets businesses. So they're really, and then the important part near and dear to my heart is being in the company, truly seeing that support. We had last week special invite by one of the vice presidents to a number of us to help celebrate and come together for an enlistment. It was a gentleman that's both are members of our part of our associates of our company, and one was wanting to join the military and join the National Guard at 40 years old. At 40 years old, you're talking about motivation and having motivated people around here. I was in my mid 20s when I joined, so I thought I was a little older than 18, 24 years old, but 40 years old. So, and we got to celebrate that and bring people around to appreciate that and see that event. So there's a lot of great things from within that support us in the transition and once we're here to thrive. They've even found that the percentages, military and their spouses tend to promote even at I think it's about 7% higher rate, a faster rate than the other folks within the company. So when you get here, I can get with you, Ernest, to make a post. But coming in, we also have a military skills translator, which will take your NEC or MOS or your whatever your job is in the military and translate it to what we have in needs within the whole Walmart Inc., which is Walmart, Sam's, Walmart International, etc., whether it's in the front lines or whether it's in the field or here home office. We also have job simulations, and I have a link for that I can provide to get that out there. But that's how I got in, why the family reasons, came in, saw as a great career to not only finish my career with Navy and retired 1 July at 28 years, 20 active 8 reserve, but to come back to Walmart and retire to something, because they say you never want to retire. And my recommendation is never to sit in a chair, remote, and a TV for the rest of your life, because that'll be the end of it. But they've really provided that ways and means of career progression for everyone. But they have a soft spot because Sam Walton, our founder, when he opened his first store, got off the train, having served in the World War II era, it was Army, and was still in his uniform when he was getting off the train to go set his first shop up. So he was a veteran. So that's our founders, whom we have Made in America is a book I would recommend everyone read. It'll give you the backstory to our culture and kind of our playbook, Made in America, and Sam Walton. Recommend that. But that's kind of why I'm still here and why I'm here with you today.
Yeah, talk to me about the Guard and Reserve side of things, because there's some folks here like I am effing done, and other folks who are maybe thinking like, hey, the Guard and Reserve, I was in the Guard, I got to interact. So how did that, how did you handle it working, the weekends, the 2 weeks, and then working Walmart full time? How did you feel like that worked out for you in the long run?
Well, I know that Seth Henry is our senior manager for military programs. He's Guard. He just came from the Army and went from Army to National Guard. And when he needs to go off and do his thing, they support Cody, who covers him. Cody's out right now on paternity leave. And as I mentioned, Seth's coming back from DC from a trip right now, so that's why I'm covering. But Cody was 10 years in the Marine Corps, and we've kind of picked on him. 10 years, you're at the 50-yard line. You could retire in another 10, but they've covered for each other. I've stepped in. I know when I was first hired back in 15 while I was still in the reserves, and then when I got called up on orders, and then I had orders after orders, they have a company called Sedgwick. Sedgwick is their third party who handles anytime you need to go on military leave. So if it's if it's a weekend, then you just let your supervisor know up your chain here, and they support for you to have that time to, if you need to leave, punch out early on Friday for that weekend drill, no problem. But if it's an extended period of time, like your few weeks, your active trainer AT, you just apply for that time away through, if you're not wanting to use your time off. I would recommend you just do the military leave of absence, and they support you come right back in and pick up where you left off. And you just make sure you have a warm handoff on all of whatever you're working on. So they do support that, and they have a number of folks that do that. Now I'm excited now that I don't have that. I'm quote retired from that portion, so I can just have singular focus. But that's how I did it when I was initially with the company. They would give you that support, and I'll give you. I'm not going to say everything's roses. There were some times I would work all week. I would go drill on a weekend, and then have some deliverable that I'd have to come home. There's a couple of weekend Sunday nights that I was, meeting or exceeding deadline for Monday. A couple of them, but not a lot. And that was incumbent on me and how I manage my workload, my communication, and I've seen since I've come back to Walmart after this recent military leave of absence, the support and the leeway is incredible, so that you can do the juggle between both. That's why they had this. All of us are invited, a bunch of us, to this reenlistment last week to show that we have members that are active, drilling guards folks, still carrying the both military torch and a Walmart torch.
Mhm. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Sedgwick. They're one of our partners. They've been great.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yep.
yeah, we've been sending some folks there too, because yeah, they're doing good stuff. I had no idea that they were working with you guys as well. That's pretty cool.
For
So
years. Yep. Yep.
yeah,
They're in I keep them in my phone. Cedric's right here. That, and I keep HR folks in contact so that while I was away, I would supply my new set of orders, and then I would keep Cedric updated, and that way it left me in good stead. The anomaly was I was gone for several years, that they still saw my name from the higher ups and up the chain on the books, and were like, and of course I go by Tyler. My first name is Howard, but I go by my middle name Tyler. They're like, who's this Howard Mates? Who is this? We don't, you know. So when I finally came back, I still get a few of them. I saw a vice president the other day. Said, "Oh yeah, I've seen your name. So you're Howard Mates." I'm him incarnate. So it's funny. They
yeah, you see that name on a list, and it's like, the guy will show up someday. I hope we're not paying him at least. Hey, you mentioned you did some of the HR stuff on the Navy side. How much has that helped you on the civilian side with the different skills and things that you learned there? How did you transfer that over to civilian?
it's been very big help, Ernest, because I got the HR certification, which was funny because they told us study hard, and we did. And I'll save you the story of a lot of study to pass the PHR. I was going to go for the SPHR, the Senior Professional Human Resource Certification, but I saw the pass and fail rate was better with the Professional Human Resource Certification. And that's all I needed for my career path. So I knocked it out, and they said, turn your military brain off. It's really just a civilian qualification, but our community, our designation within the Navy appreciates having that. So it's almost
Mm.
like trimmings, but I've almost seen more application coming out than within, if you will. So if you have an HR, if you're in an HR role or have interest in HR, do seek out the certification just so it validates. Just like having experience or having a degree or having a certification, like your trades, going for HVAC or these different needs, have some kind of wallpaper, as one of my chiefs used to call it, to back you up. So I've seen the transition. It helped me from within to wrap up my career in a leadership role that I was aspiring to be a skipper, as we affectionately call it, a commanding officer. On the outside, it's helped me in a variety of ways through some of my roles. I'm worked with the Global Talent and Learning uh, division, if you will. And what we do is we create leadership training, operational training for our focus is Walmart US, which is all the Walmarts and Sam's across America, and about 1.2 million associates. So we write, create, edit, tweak, and publish this stuff. And we are the country's largest private educator in the United States of America. Because of a formality of our system, we have ULearn, which is a program where folks wanting to get their bachelor's can get that through this program through a number of great schools, even some of them are Ivy League, paid for by Walmart, and and get some of these certifications and different things. Right now, we have a lot of push towards AI and AI certifications. We're at the forefront, being a people-led, tech-driven company, omni-channel retailer. We really so HR has just been one of the icing on the cake, if you will, because it gives you the lens, no matter what area you're working in, um, that human perspective, that I call it sense of humanity in whatever you're doing, and doing your best and doing it right. So that's kind of broad scope how the HR background, HR cert has been applicable.
Yes, yeah, learn the language and then adapt it with the new one. Um,
Correct.
so like your transition, you were getting out on the active side way ahead of the skill bridge and a lot of the resources. So can you talk to me about like the successes, the failures, the pain, the pleasure of you getting out and saying, "Oh crap, I need to get a job in the civilian world." How did that look like to you?
Um, I found when I first joined Walmart, I went through the oh crap moment as far as whom to work for and coming off active orders because I'd been in recruiting for a couple of tours and I was going back to the reserve, so I had to have a day job. And I went through that then at that time prior to 15 and got to a point with recruiting. I thought I was going to be a recruiter with, ended up with a no somewhere along the line. And I thought the deal was sealed. But you don't take no's. It's just okay. Just you keep pushing. And eventually, I found my way into the more creative side of things, or HR side of things, educational side of things, with a yes, and came into the company. So then and now is completely different. We have these military program managers, Cody and Seth. Seth's at the helm. He's the senior manager. I have his contact info if you need be reaching out through them and the things we've created with this military translator and job simulations. It allows you to streamline your efforts and not just, especially today in tech and AI and all that, throwing 1,000 resumes out and hoping it sticks. We're very pointed in encouraging you to apply to the roles, and through communicating with the team, they can narrow down and you can look specifically what you're interested in and your military career would make you suitable for a host of jobs, whether it's in the stores or the field or headquarters or overseas. Um, for instance, one of the big areas we have a big need for is diesel techs. They could get picked up just like that, or folks coming from the transportation side are we're hiring. I know the guy that hires a lot of, our truckers, our drivers. It's hard to get in. It's almost easier to get in Harvard than it is to be a driver with us. But the pay
Really?
is outstanding, six figures. And you don't want to get a wreck, at least be your fault once you get in and driving for us. But it's a fantastic program for those that want to drive, fix stuff. We've got maintenance. We're creating our own maintenance force within Walmart organically by outsourcing to fix stuff. So there's folks good with their hands. People want to get, I would say paper cuts, but we don't even have much paper in our home office here. It's all laptop, and you got to make sure you stretch your shoulders because you're slumped over at laptop all day. Besides your trips and travel and stuff, so there's a lot of different things you can do. Maybe you want to be a retailer, you want to become a store manager and bring your management experience. They've recently bumped the base pay for store managers to six figures, around $1.25. And they have on the full spectrum, the enterprise stores that meet and exceed goals, and all their bonuses and bennies equate to over $400,000 a
Whew.
year. So they can make more than even some of us, except for the execs and C-suite, senior executives and all, top folks working for the president, CEO, and stuff. Besides the top of, as you would have in any organization, they're actually making more than most of us, at least for this base salary. It's incredible. So they're really making sure with the training, the pay, they're creating an environment, culture, all these things that are great. What we're seeing though is there are bringing in a lot of folks with technical backgrounds, with retail backgrounds, with just the most important thing is that they blend with our culture and our values. That'll be the only showstopper for anybody that's interested in joining Walmart. The values piece. That the values and culture is so important, and our military values do coalesce with Walmart values. But if you personally, maybe you hate the military, you're getting out, like, we have similar values of that servant leadership and that quality effort and how we treat each other and so on, and continuously improving. We're never resting on our laurels. Those are some things you have to introspectively ask yourself. Is this my flavor? And don't think of it just as a retailer. We're a global organization. We are the world's largest retailer. The only one we're really is at Amazon that we're competing with. We just bumped our entire company sales into the $1 trillion club, the second retailer in history that's ever. Amazon just barely beat us as far as $1 trillion club. And I know some of you are thinking, well, Target's our competitor. We're up here in a $1 trillion club. They're down at the $50 billion club. So they're way down there. So we've been able to continue to develop our company through our people. And then, of course, our purpose is to serve our customers.
Yeah. So talk to me about what you do now. What are you doing at Walmart now? What's your job? What's it look like?
For me, on a daily basis, to keep me mostly busy and out of trouble, or very busy and mostly out of trouble, I should say, I've been a de facto chief or editor in chief recently Editing a lot of stuff because I was a facilitator for a dozen years. Again, my resume's got a lot of stuff concurrent. Never did one thing at a time. So I was editing a lot of stuff. Right now, I'm in a instructional design role. We should actually start scripting this one new role, leadership role that Walmart's creating. It doesn't even, it's just recently been rolled out, and we're expanding it across the country. And I'm working with a partner on building this to give operational slash leadership training to this new role. So that's kind of what I do on a daily basis. And then we have people we can reach out to for images, videos. We've been looking into virtual reality for activities because when we do our training, we have what are called Walmart academies. And these are training facilities that you don't often see when you go into a Walmart, but there's about 206. And there's one in Fayetteville. And if you see the Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it could be in wherever state you're in, it's a training building that's out back. Sometimes it's combined with warehousing and additional uses, multi-purpose uses. But they're literal training academies with facilitation and coaches and all kind of stuff. I was visiting one for the last few days, and so I go in and observe, what's going down, and then it helps us. We're actually going to be visiting a store tomorrow, first thing in the morning, to observe what we're writing about. So we're trying to bring reality in and get feedback from the front lines. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now, instructional design stuff. And then I volunteer with the military program support whenever I can. And then I also have another job. It's called an issue tracker, where we actually have feedback on our education. And I note the feedback and make the changes or feed up or feed across to wherever it needs to go to keep stuff top-notch quality all the way. So that's kind of my educational world that I am right now.
Hey, Clay, go ahead, sir.
Hey, Tyler, thank you very much for your time. And I'm kind of the learning development guy here at Seven Eagle. So you and I speak a lot of the same language. With that
Okay.
virtual reality stuff, what are you doing? Are you building it in Canva and then putting it into Articulate, then putting it to a VR system? Or
Yeah,
how,
the guys sit just a few tables over from me. I see them when they're looking out. We're on the third floor of the building I'm in, and you'll see them with the headset on, kind of sitting there. I'm like, man, they must be having a good time over there. We're sitting there slumped over a laptop, and once they approve that or augmented reality is another one we're driving towards very heavily. I call it aggravated reality, but they they are, and what they do is they tie it into when we can get to mesh with our activities, because of all our instruction, the way it's facilitated, we build activities to and debriefs and different things to support what was learned, because we don't want them to just walk away with content in their head. We want them to be thinking about how it applies to their job and how they're going to go right back and apply it and make their workplace better, whatever it is their role is. And because we do leadership suite for top executives, which I've been a part of, tracking through home office here, home office proper here in Bentonville, and other satellite locations that we have on each coast. I've also delved into, did a little editing in fashion from some of the content. And then recently, right now, I'm in a health and wellness role. I don't want to give that out publicly, but it is launching as we speak. And those guys do sit over there. And what they do is, say, an example of your question is, we have in these training academies headsets. You walk in, there's a table of them. So all you need is a couple of three folks to actually don them. Like the class I was in yesterday was about 19. We try to shoot between 8 and 15 people for our sweet spot for facilitator associate ratio.
yeah, anything bigger than that, it gets crazy. I understand that 100%.
Correct. And then they put the couple of three folks will don them, then we can load it up, and then everyone else can see it on the screen. We have all the smart screens and all that stuff. And it allows us to create these simulations of our environments that we're training to. We often go physically into them. Like yesterday, we actually made a trip into the Walmart because the academy's physically behind the Walmart, and made our point of what the activity's intent was. We also had one where that academy is joined to a warehouse. So we were able to go into a warehouse and break down our learning objectives. Hey, is this set for today's work shift? Is it, what do you see that's good? What do you see that's, so we do some real live hands-on stuff as well, but this really helps augment, as you know, and it's the future. So we can't really kick it to the curb. We embrace it just as we do our AI, and using that, all the agents we've created to help improve our work and speed up our work, especially the mundane and task-driven stuff, so we can focus on what we do best, human still, till AI figures it out, become sentient. Creative, we're the creators, and it helps innovate, but we create. And so the VR, AR stuff, especially when I first say AR, I'm like, AR, I come from a health and wellness side. That means another term, another acronym. It's intriguing to see them, but they work just a few tables over. I know the team and the guy that heads them up, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
But you're not building like the X APIs to sit there like they have to physically do this motion to get a check off in the LMS. The facilitator is still going into the LMS and checking a box saying, "Yep, complete, therefore unlocking progress all the way through." Correct?
Yeah, they build, and their litany of approvals and legal and all the compliance, the gauntlet, and then once they create and it goes through this gauntlet, then it's published, and then the folks, respectively to whatever it pertains to, will have access for its use. And they use it in training environments. You won't see a Walmart associates in a store walking around in the front end of the store,
I
cruising
love
around.
that.
Yeah, that if you.
I'm going to hold you to that. If I see an associate with an Oculus on your head, I'm going to sit there and be like, "Well, clearly Tyler did something wrong." But I'm just kidding. But
Let me
anyways,
know.
no, that's
me
really
know.
fascinating because I know that in physical places, that's starting to become the norm. But for
Mhm.
me, coming from the software world, it's just sort of like, how can I incorporate it? Like, particularly with all these guys here, like, how could in the future can I incorporate that augmented reality, that virtual reality stuff through the LMS, through my instructional design and everything like that? I just
Mhm.
that just got really my brain going there. But anyways, I'm gonna be
Well,
quiet now.
no, you just need to. I've got the website for our careers, and especially if you're military background, I take it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've been out for
because
10 years too, so I have a lot of civilian experience in
we
L&D.
we won't hold that against you. I had a 10-year break before I came back in and finished my career, but so I resemble that remark. But no, we have the site where you can go in and see and look at our military skills translator and our job simulation simulators and some of that stuff. Get a taste test, and maybe you want to come aboard or whatever. It's an intriguing thing. The thing is, you have your variations of hire, direct hire, some of the poaching that goes on, if you will. All companies do. But we have our internship program. We have, of course, with Military Skill Bridge, depending on your rank, how many months you can get to come over and really get a head start, which is brilliant. Um, but I tell you, the military itself, their support, that's a soft spot that they have, I feel, for us as men and women that have served or serving. And it's really cool to see that I've felt it and seen it. And it's not just been, as I mentioned earlier, platitude. It's been a real deal. And so it's really cool.
Yeah.
What
I
other questions you have?
yeah, no, I just thank you because it's always nice to have another learning and development professional here. So
Mhm.
thank you. I really appreciate that. We'll definitely be in touch for
Yep.
sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Nicholas, go ahead, sir.
Hey Tyler, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you and hearing
You
your
bet,
story.
Nicholas.
And probably was a lot of fun being a corpsman for the Marines, right? The medic for the Marines was probably rough. That's not really
Love
my
Marine
question.
Corps.
Yeah,
Love
yeah,
Marines.
yeah. My dad was a corpsman, so it's kind of he always told me stories. But anyways, my question is, so you mentioned Bentonville and Fayetteville. I don't know if you said Fayetteville or not, but I know the location of where the headquarters at. Beautiful area, Beaver Creek, and has like a lot of stuff to do in the city and all that kind of stuff. My question is, do you have any remote roles or anything that's outside of that area, or is it kind of like, hey, if you're working for corporate, you got to come join the team and come in our building type thing? Which either way, I'm just kind of curious. Also, you made me buy that Made in America. I apologize. I did buy it on Amazon, but I'm gonna check it out.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I ever order anything from Amazon. And if I can't find it on Walmart or get it quick enough, I'll go to at Walmart. I'll go to Amazon. So, um, but yeah, no, I'm with you. Um, No, there are remote. There's a big push though across corporate America for RTO policies, return to office policy to get folks back. Most of us are all back here at home office. We do have them in other East and West Coast locations, um, Sunnyvale on the West Coast or Hoboken or near Jersey. We have a location, but we we do have some bodies of work that are still remote. I know that if you reach out to Seth Henry, uh, his email though is jared.henry@walmart.com. That's Jared, like it's normally spelled, .henry@walmart.com. He, you'd have to ping him because he was working with Cody, who's out on paternity leave right now, and Cody was putting together per one of these breakout sessions or these type of workshops we've had recently for a list, active list of remote jobs, because he's got access in his program management access to assemble that. I've not seen that. Like I said, I jump in and volunteer with these guys or help cover when I can when I'm not getting pulled on my other stuff that I do for my design job. And he does have a list of them. There are some, yes. Majority though, especially if you want headquarters, home office, or HQ, they are encouraging us to come back here, and some folks are moving back here. So that is a consideration that you have to have, and I think that's just what a lot of companies are doing, return to office. I hope remote doesn't go away. I think there's a place for both or a hybrid for them both, but it's great company, and I've had no fuss or frets, especially the benefits and things that they. I know at corporate office we have switched from paid time off to flex time off. That means there's no limit to what time you take off, but you don't want to abuse it. You want to make sure your work's done, communicate. But it used to mean like I have 10 years on my badge. It used to mean 3 weeks and that's it. Well, now it's whatever. But make sure it's balanced, and they let us police ourselves. Just like they've gone from dress attire to formal, nice polo, pullover, jeans, whatever, nothing ripped or torn. And we do gussy up on occasion for certain meetings and things. But I wanted to show you what a day in the life of is. It's great. 401k matching. You put in 6%, they put in 6%. Deals on their shares. And here at HQ, we get bonuses if the company does well, which we're going to be this year, which is great. We're excited because our FY starts in February. So you got a lot of good stuff. The campus itself is amazing. If you go to YouTube and look at Walmart's new headquarters or home office, it'd be worth 15 minutes of your life to take a look. They built it and it's continuing to be finished. It's been in construction the last 5 years. We're not all moved in here yet. We're almost. And so I definitely recommend taking a spin on YouTube, and you can see where I work here. I'm in the Sparky building. They're named after things to do with Sam Walton or his dog, Old Roy, or he liked to fish. There's one building called Upstream. That's our health and wellness building. We're on the creative side. We're here at Sparky. They got different names. Moon Pie, because you can find moon pies at Walmart. There's a building named Moon Pie. It's kind of funny, but the place is pretty cool. And it's open to the public. You can come walk the green spaces, and there's some shops and restaurants. There's a great barbecue place here. You can cruise around. So if you wanted to move here, it was around 20. It's about 18% below cost of living nationally to live here. So you can stretch your dollar, and you can either live in Bentonville proper, or many of us commute in from neighboring cities because taxes drop considerably. Or some like to live here because of the nightlife, or you can basically bike anywhere you want. They even have a goal of a certain percent of our workforce here on campus to commute, where you can, they have bike shops with free bikes, electric bikes, hoverboards, all that kind of stuff you can use to commute while you're at work. Like I had a meeting this morning that was on the far side of the campus, and my cohort wanted to bike it. So we have the little app. We grab the bike, go over to the meeting, come back, and just put it back in the stall. So they have stalls for this, kind of encouraging green, encouraging health, etc. And they let you live nearby, take the bike home, and then bring it back the next day, free. So they have some interesting spins on trying to support the environment, support us, keep us healthy, so living here is not a bad thing. We're retired here. We're going to hang our hat in this area, and then use it as a launch point to travel the world and do our all our plans and goals. But it's a beautiful area to live.
That's good. Hey, Chris, go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much for being with us, sir. Walmart's always been a company I've been looking at as a warehouse manager, material management specialist. You did
Okay.
touch briefly upon the truck, those who want to drive the trucks, because you always see that we're hiring drivers on the side of Walmart. So I imagine you get many candidates. Which position within Walmart HQ do you think is the most competitive to get into?
Well, being a driver and HQ are two different worlds. Drivers on the road, we're here in the confines of this campus, unless we're traveling to do our visits and open up new Walmarts. Like we just opened our first new Walmart in South Africa, and so I know some of the folks on International that flew over there for that opening. But the truckers are on the road, and I know the guy around the corner actually that's just told me today. Yeah, we're looking for more people. We're looking for, like, I don't know how many. He said hundreds or thousands of people. He's looking for more drivers. As far as here at HQ, it's kind of whatever you bring, because like in our development world, our instructional designer world, we have some folks that are educated or experienced to being instructional designers that are doing that role or somewhere in that, whether it's scripting or architecture or whatever, or visual, video, whatever they're doing, VR, AR. But some of them are not. Some of them come from being teachers and principals. Uh, um, some come from one of the ones I was working with for a bit recently was a nurse, had been a nurse at a hospital, but now is here building education for health and wellness. So some of them are not always a direct correlate to fill a job. The needs, they're constantly um, encouraging all of us to cross train as well, like they do in the military, across the enterprise, so that if you see the writing on the wall or it's declared that they're trimming down over in this area, you always have a network that you can shift. And that's how most of the people, like Doug McMillan, who was our previous CEO, just recently stepped down after 30 something, I forget how many years it is, 35 years. John Furner took over as CEO. They both were hourly workers in a store. John Furner, our current CEO, worked at Store 100 here in Bentonville at the Supercenter. Now he's CEO of the entire company. So it shows you how they work their way up from the front lines. And it also tells you the story, like our COO for Walmart International was telling his story the other day, and how he took some of the hard jobs, or he traveled and he did some work in this for Sam's for so many years. And then he did work on Walmart side. Then he worked over in China. Then he worked in Mexico. Then, and this is with his family in tow. Families are authorized. So they, if you've heard the joke about the Marine Corps, unless they issue it, it's not authorized, or something to that effect. And he was just saying the variety of things that he did of jobs. And so there's not really, it's hard to say this one specific area is where we're bleeding most and need that direct pressure, that help or support. It's a continuous. That's why when you want to go in through the military skills translator, it'll take your experiences, your NECs, MOSs, designations, etc., whatever you call your job code, and they'll say, here's a list of stuff, and then you pick and choose, and they'll say what it is, where it is it salary, hourly, is it store, is it field, is it home office, and that'll break down for you.
Good stuff.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hey, Diana, go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, Tyler. Thank you for being here. I'm a fellow corpsman and commissioned officer as well,
Oh, what'd you commission as? What'd you cross over the dark side and become?
Medical Service Corps.
Ah, MSC. Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
healthcare administration.
Nice.
Yeah. I was wondering, I am interested in hearing more about the health and wellness role there. Whenever you can speak more to it, if I could stay in touch with you, I would like that.
Yeah, you bet. The health and wellness role is a great, I work with, we call them our business partners. They are the ones that manage health and wellness for Walmart. They're in a neighboring building. We're writing for them as a partnership. We have a lot of business partnership going on amongst the different parts of Walmart headquarters to work together and team and collaborate and so on, whether directly or indirectly. Yeah, no, that's a great field. I know one of the folks, 30 something years, 35 years with the company. Kelly's her name. She's running a lot of this program stuff that we're working on within pharmacy, and she'd been a pharmacy tech in a pharmacy in a Walmart, and now she's perched in this big giant building, and was running one of our big meetings the other day that we were, setting up who's who in the zoo as far as moving forward with this, because we start working on the scripting that we call it, or writing the stuff. We have all the constructs set up, but we start next week, so it's really near and dear right now to my head and my heart, working on it. And so to see where these people are coming from. But yeah, you have an interest in it's a great community, health and wellness, because I have a background, as I mentioned, mine's in optics, but I'll say my story's not about me, it's about you guys. So yeah, what I would recommend is if you apply and go to this site, all of you, if you want to write this down, if you get plenty of ink ready, or leave yourself plenty of width on your page, if everyone's ready to write, it's HTTPS colon careers.walmart.com /US /EN, that's Echo November, /home /careers dash or TAC for you military types, careers TAC areas /military. So again, that's HTTPS careers.walmart.com /US /EN, Echo November, /home /careers TAC areas /military. When you get in there, unfortunately, you're going to have to see my ugly mug if you scroll down the bottom. I wouldn't recommend it, but you may have to, because there's a hyperlink by my mug for a job simulator. But if you go in there, it's going to give you, when you click on one of the earlier ones down the page, military skills translator. When you click on that, that's going to give, where they're going to ask some information about each of you. And so that's going to populate and show that you're looking into this, so that our military program managers, Seth and Cody's out till March. We do offer, that's another fringe benefit. You have a little one, even though he didn't do all the work his wife did, he gets 12 weeks paid time paternity leave to support the family, which is amazing. FMLA gives you time but no money, and this is not using flex time off. This is just paternity time off, and maternity time likewise that they offer. If you go in there, they'll be able to capture that for each of you and your interest, so that you can look in the translator for your skills and your interests. They can see you, and then you'll establish communication or comms with them. I don't actively do that. Now, you may see me in LinkedIn or want to connect. That's cool. I'm a military retiree /vet /whatever, just like you guys. So I'm happy to support. They have the direct line or pipeline, and until I get hired in that world. Example, I'm designing right now. I've been pitching up through them and through their chain several layers up. Hey, chopped liver here. I'll be your cannon fodder. Please bring me in. I don't need any glory. I just need some work. So I love military and I love Walmart. So, but go in there and you're going to be able to see two hyperlinks: skills translator and the job simulations. And that's going to give you some, for you and for each of you, it may have follow-on questions. And there's some cool videos and snippets of testimonials and people that are in there on that page. So please go into that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Joey, fire away, brother.
Hey Tyler, it's good hearing someone from Arkansas too. I'm in Fort Smith right now.
Oh yeah, River Valley. Yeah.
Yeah, River Valley. So I have a lot of family who works in the Walmart industry for the past my whole life. My cousin, he's at Bentonville too. He's in the real estate side.
Yes.
So it's really cool hearing you come on and talk about everything. So I've always been interested, and I guess my question, I don't know if you already answered it and I just missed it. How do you guys typically handle like skill bridge candidates? Like what type of position would they come into if they came into, like, I don't know, there's way different departments, but like with military experience, was that like entry level, mid level? Like, how do you guys handle that?
All the above. All the above. And to your point, it'll show anything tied to what you bring to the table, and it does encompass all those. The key point, once Cody comes back in off paternity leave, one of the things that I loved about him, because he's Marine Corps, hoorah, corpsman with the Marines. And yeah, I eat crayons. Somebody asked, I eat blues, my favorite color, my favorite flavor. But anyways, men's department, I've heard all the jokes. My son even gives me a hard time. He's in the Air Force. I said, son, they're going to call you Chair Force. No, he's giving me more grief now that he's got a few years under his belt, and I love it. he can help you and guide you, he and Seth, so that when you're applying for these things, you know that it's worth your time, because you don't want one resume to fit um, all jobs. You need to have it tailored based on your experience with some of the key words and experiences to what they're looking for. Make sure they correlate. Um, and he can help you if it's already something that's already halfway through, or there's somebody that already selected. He can look behind the curtain for you to say, yeah, that's good. Keep applying, or no, move on to something else, because he's seen from the inside, from his vantage point, his administrative standpoint. He can see if it's worth your while. So you're not just throwing it at 100 things and hoping it sticks. And it helps streamline some of the process for military coming through our military programs to apply, vice just the general off the street civilian door. This is kind of a military special door to come in through for military and their family or spouses. It's pretty cool. And we do get some of the, as we call, dual meal. We get dual Walmart as well, with both spouses working for the company. Not necessarily in the same area, but and it's pretty cool. But that's what I would recommend. Hopefully that answers your question.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's good. So we're kind of running against the clock, but I got one more question I wanted to ask you on this one. So if you could go back and whisper in your ear a few months before you got out of active duty, what would you tell your younger self about what to do in your future?
Well, what I tell my younger self is what I did tell myself, but unfortunately I was old. I wasn't younger. Because remember, I had a break in service, and I saw what it was like to get out and then miss it and come back in, and I remembered what I'd went through, some of the woulda, coulda, shouldas. So the second time, and what I tell myself, to answer your question, but what I told my old self, since was what I was I made sure everything was planned out. I started planning out at least a year out. You get your transition class, your TAPS class, your whatever you may have acronym wise, call it within your respective branches. You're looking into your medical. Be ahead of everything, even if they say you need to throttle back or get back with us. I even did that coming back to Walmart. I was in contact with one of the group directors right under vice president level, still in good contact with this. I don't work for him anymore, but we still are tight. Great guy. Excuse me. I was in communication with him so early. He's like, wait till a few months down the road. But you want to lean in early on all your preparation, both for your exit, where you're interested in heading, and any of the logistics, even if you have to throttle back or stand by, or they tell you, that's great, appreciate you reaching out, reach back at, at a future date, thus and such. Be forward leaning and all that, because as you do that, you're going to go, oh yeah, I'm missing this, and talk to people that either have gone through that process recently or hit all the resources and folks that are helping you, because what you're going to have to do getting out is screen through both military, your exit physical, and all this other stuff that's required in paperwork, selling off any of your leave that you still have on the books, etc., all this stuff. But you're also going to have to go through the VA, make sure that you're, if you need to end up qualifying. If you're retiring, you have chance of pension. If you're just getting out, then you have that time that you can maybe pick up later, like I did, and come back in, or apply it to post office or anybody else in government service that might take it and give you senior years. But you also have to look at VA. You may qualify for VA disability. Anything greater than 50% is going to be income in your pocket, including your pension. Or if you didn't get a pension, but you still qualify for VA, you'll have entitlement to benefits and care for them with an honorable discharge, and or money in excess of that 50, even though you're getting out. It's tax-free. It's all tax-free dollars beyond 50%.
Well, we hammer that home.
Yeah. So those are things that you want to make sure all that's, and sometimes government flubs. I did all that early, and then like my VA flubbed and called me single. I said, no, I've been married coming up on 36 years. And the Navy knows it. Apparently you guys don't, but here's the docs. So it started this whole 8-step, they have an 8-step system, months and months, another 6 months to fix, just an administrative error. But then they still ran me through another physical gauntlet. You do whatever you got to do. So even if it's an aggravation, it's for your benefit, for you and your family. Do it early and make sure it's correct, especially your DD-214 on your way out. That's a classic one to always have. And they've changed the format, the way it looks. It's similar. similar content. It's just a little different construct. So when you see your DD-214, if you have ever seen one, I had several from getting in and out and deployments from the reserves to active duty and back, but I had about 4 of them. But make sure all that stuff's correct and ahead of the curve, because it's only to benefit you. And hopefully have something lined up, especially if you do like the skill bridge and qualify for, have something that overlaps. Then you don't have any eating money lapse in between, or eating and paying the light bill between the two. That would be what I recommend and what I did and told my younger self. And in this recent retirement, I thought it went as smooth as it could. Nothing's perfect.
Awesome. Hey, last one, Clay, go ahead, sir.
So Tyler, like I said, I'm the L&D guy here at Seven Eagle, and there's about 5 on here right now that I am mentoring, looking to get into learning and development, whether it be facilitation, whether it be ID, or some other, avenue as well. Besides their military experience, which can be vast and wide, from the civilian standpoint, what do you recommend for them to go after? Are you recommending people to go get ATP certifications, or go get something else to get that experience for them to get their foot in the door in the skill bridge or civilian careers?
Yeah, the search, especially because anything you have in wallpaper, whether it's degrees, search, etc., is going to validate when you say I am or I can, and here's my doc, my proof doc. As I mentioned earlier, though, sometimes they'll take you from other fields and bring you in, and it's relative to or contributes to. And they recently took us in a reorganization that happened in even since I've been back since July, where we used to be siloed into, us folks that were scripting, learning architects, the video production team. They broke that down, those silos, and they smashed us into teams. So each team comprises, in our global talent and learning, folks with a variety of, and the people that they kept or the people that they still bring in. We're actually doing a hire here they're working on right now, will come in directly with that experience or relative, like I'm one that's relative experience. So like I was an instructional designer, but I was a facilitator for a dozen years. I had this, I had that, the other. They knew those were things would translate over, and I could upskill to the necessary of the roles. And so I would say definitely apply. You don't have to go through military programs. I would definitely exercise this, because it narrows down the gazillion. We get here at home office about 22,000 people a day applying. So how do you navigate through all this push? Going through that website, as I mentioned, going through our military programs, it streamlines you. I won't say it gives you head-of-line privileges, but in effect, it does help you a great deal to the general populace trying to merge in, especially if you want to hear something creative here in Walmart. But they're constantly turning over and bringing in folks to bring their talents and apply or upskill to apply whatever creative, to your question, world. But come through these guys. Cody and Seth are going to allow them and all the supporting members of the team that work for them, because we don't do, or they don't do, as I work with them, we don't do the recruiting. We're just out to put the good word out. And then as we bring you in, you come in through the site, we get your info, then we reach out to our recruiters and HR folks and all the different team members that are supportive of that, and try to streamline that for you, so it's not a pain in the neck trying to come alongside or merge with us and have a great career.
Love it. Fantastic, Tyler. And I shot you a LinkedIn request because I'd love to chat with you further, because like I said, it's always nice to have another learning and development person here within the Connections group. So thank you.
You bet. And I can always link you to talk to or meet other people that are super mega, wicked smart. The intelligence and creativity blows my mind. And I've never said I was the sharpest tool in the shed, nor am I the dullest. I'm your workhorse. But some of these folks are really prodigies and things, and savants. And it's just like, I work with a person in one of my teams in one of my projects that has a photographic memory.
Oh,
I don't. I have to see it, read it, write it. And if I'm using it, I keep it. And if not, it gets filed way in the back. And so there's some incredible talents and abilities. But I have to say this, as long as, back to wrap this up, values and culture, I've seen the merge well with our military values that we all espouse. As long as you agree to that, and Made in America by Sam Walton's a great book to read that. It's not that long of a read. There's even some pictures in the middle. I always like, where's the pictures? Read that, and that's going to give you some backstory that, hey, that's a company I got to find a way in. And that's how I got in. I got a no from one way I thought I was going to get in, that I was experienced in, but I found another that I wasn't. But hey, I want in. I'm willing to. What one said the other day at one of our corporate meetings: be comfortable being uncomfortable. And he meant by that is stretching, growing, not resting on your laurels. If you're comfortable with that, and most of you are used to that from the military, it's a great place. And the eating money only gets better as you go along. So
this has been awesome. Tyler Maits, Global Learning and Talent Manager at Walmart. Thank you very much for coming out, spending a little time, and dropping a ton of wisdom on the folks here. This has been really good stuff, and I'd love to definitely have you back on again when you have some time. So I thank you very much, sir.
my pleasure. Thanks for all of you having me, and appreciate all of your service. I can't say it's always an honor to be around folks like you. You're awesome people, and we love to have you here. And whatever I can be of support. So like I said, I'm not the official support these guys are, but I will tell you I'm one of the most motivated. So it's because, I love life and I love people, and this is a great way to make positive impact. So thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. Hey, guys, we'll be back here in about 4 minutes at the top